One of the things that you realize early on in working with websites is that your code is always at the mercy of the user's browsers. It's a crowded browser market today with Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari, Opera, and Google's Chrome browser being only a few of the browsers that your page might encounter. As such, it's always a smart idea to test your page in as many browsers as you can when you're developing your site. This can prevent rendering errors from one browser to the next and help you ensure a consistent experience for all visitors to your site. Dreamweaver also allows you to set up multiple browsers for testing and gives you an internal testing environment using LiveView. So here we have our photos.htm page open from our lifestyle subdirectory. And I want to go ahead and check out LiveView before we move on to testing in browsers. I'm going to go over to my panels and I'm going to collapse this down to icons so that I've got a little bit more screen real estate here. And I'm going to go up to my document toolbar and turn LiveView on. Now, LiveView uses the WebKit rendering engine. So that's the same engine that Safari and Chrome uses. So previewing here gives you a good idea as to what it might look like in those browsers. The thing I love about LiveView, of course, is that all the interactivity is built into it. So you can check out all of your JavaScripting and things like that, including CSS-based rollovers here in LiveView without having to preview in the browser. So I'm going to go ahead and turn LiveView off. Now, if I did want to preview this in the browser, I can stay right on the document toolbar, grab this little icon where the planet is, and preview in any browser that I have set up. In this case, I could preview it in Firefox. And I could check the functionality in Firefox to make sure that it was still doing what I expected to do, which it is. You may have noticed that previewing it in Firefox has a function key beside it. So I could hit F12 and automatically preview it without having to come to the menu, which is really nice. But how do you set things like that up? And how do you set up multiple browsers? Maybe I've got another browser that I want to use. How do I set that up? Well, we do that by using Dreamweaver's preferences. So again, on the PC, we're going to go to Edit, Preferences, and on the Mac, you guys would go to Dreamweaver Preferences. In this long list of categories on the left-hand side, I'm going to go to Preview in Browser. So here I can see that Firefox and Internet Explorer are the only two that are currently set up. Well, I'm going to add Google's Chrome browser. If you've got multiple browsers installed on your hard drive, you can choose any one you want, like Opera or Safari or whatever you'd like that you don't see listed here. Feel free to go out and download some of those browsers. They all are free. And as I've mentioned before, testing in as many browsers as you can is a really good idea. So I'm going to click plus, and now I've got to go find Google's Chrome browser. So I'm going to hit Browse, and it's not always in the easiest place to find either. Now I'm going to go up, and I'm going to keep going up until I'm on my local disk, and I'm going to find Users, and there I am. And I'm going to go on my application data. If you don't see this in Windows, you might actually make sure in your file view options that hidden files are turned on. So I'm going to go to App Data, Local, Google, Chrome, Application. So you have to keep going until we find it, and we choose Chrome. Now, at the time of this recording, there was no Chrome browser for the Mac, but I'm sure one's coming. So if you are on the Mac and you've downloaded a version of Chrome browser, you'll probably find that in your Applications folder. So I'm going to find Chrome, click Open, and why don't I just go ahead and make that my secondary browser? So I'm going to go ahead and click OK here. And notice that that one now has a hotkey of Control F12, and on the Mac, your secondary browser will be Command F12. So I'm going to click OK. Now that that secondary browser is set up, I can just hit Control F12, and that's going to launch that in Google's Chrome browser. And again, I can test functionality here, and it's working on as fine as well. Now, in every browser I've tested so far, in the WebKit rendering engine, in Chrome, and in Firefox, my page is looking and acting exactly the same, which gives me a lot of peace of mind about how users are going to experience my site. Previewing your pages as you're working on them will help you prevent small errors from becoming bigger errors later on and help ensure a consistent experience for all of your users.